Well, after a long day's work, there's nothing like plopping your head down on your pillow and drifting off into la la land.
For most people, it's a time of absolute peace, but for 18 million people who have sleep apnea, it's not. Sleep apnea is a disorder that causes pauses in breathing or shallow breaths when a person sleeps. The National Institutes of Health report these pauses can last from a few seconds to minutes, as many as 30 times or more an hour.
The NIH reports normal breathing usually starts up again and can be accompanied with a loud snort or choking sound. It's no wonder that people who have sleep apnea usually have poor quality of sleep.
But it's not just sleep. Experts say sleep apnea can cause many health problems too, from depression to heart failure, even stroke. As we hear from reporter Lisa Siegel, that's why it's so important to treat it. And now there's a new option.
No one wants to go in for surgery.
But that's exactly what Brian Heiser did.
That's the pulse generator right there.
He got a new type of pacemaker for a sleeping disorder.
I was just having a real hard night's sleep.
The problem? Sleep apnea, something 1 in 5 adults has. In Brian's case, his tongue was falling back against his throat as he slept, obstructing his airway. At Keck Medicine of USC, Dr. Eric Kazarian says it's no wonder Brian always felt so tired.
When you have blockage of breathing, your body's natural response is to try to breathe. So often you come out of deep sleep, restful sleep, into lighter, crummy sleep. And so that's why people with sleep apnea often will wake up in the morning and not feel refreshed.
Now, the safest option for apnea is a CPAP mask that uses air pressure to keep the airway open. It works for lots of people, but didn't help Brian sleep any better. So in July, he had surgery to implant the Inspire system. This part goes into the chest.
That's the pacemaker.
It connects to a wire that attaches to a nerve in the neck that controls tongue movement. When the device is turned on, the electric current is activated
To move the tongue forward during sleep.
Brian showed us the remote he got about a month after his surgery, and he showed us the little jolt to his tongue when it's turned on.
It's just the weirdest thing. Turn it on and go to sleep, wake up in the morning, feeling great, turn off the therapy and continue on with my day.
Still, the Inspire system is not risk-free.
We're operating, in these different parts of the body where there are other nerves, so, potentially troubles with speaking, swallowing, movement of different muscles of your face. Those risks are all relatively low.
And Brian has no regrets about his decision to get the device. He felt the health risks of his apnea were greater than the risks of having the surgery.
I'm sleeping so great, and my wife is sleeping as great as well, which is really a nice thing.
As Brian mentioned, his wife is sleeping better now too. That's because some of the symptoms of sleep apnea include loud snoring, breathing interruptions, waking up with shortness of breath, and daytime sleepiness. And Lisa, we've all had daytime sleepiness at one time or another. In fact, I wouldn't mind just, dozing off for a little bit now. Maybe I'll save it for later.
But you may be onto something. Some sleep experts say not only should we be napping, but that the perfect time to do it, get this, is at work. The National Sleep Foundation says a power nap can help fight that dip in energy we often feel in the afternoon. Now, the ideal time of day to doze off, between 2 and 4 p.m., but you want to limit your cat nap to 20 minutes, and of course it's not for everyone. Experts say if you're not getting good sleep at night, skip an afternoon nap because it can mess up your internal clock even more. And sleep experts say if your boss isn't okay with you catching some shut-eye at work, ask if you can step out for a minute and nap in your car. So Sean, do you think our boss would mind if we took a quick cat nap?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her when she wakes up. But, many people try to squeeze in as much sleep as possible in the morning, and as a result, they're late for work, like all the time. Well, at the end of the year, an employee who is late 10 minutes a day, every day, accumulates a total of 1 week in paid vacations. Well, here are a few pointers on how to be more punctual.
If you set your alarm and still leave the house too late, here are some ways to trick yourself into dropping the habit. Find your weakness. If picking the right outfit or looking for your keys is the culprit, try setting your clothes out the night before and leave your keys in the same place so they're easier to find. Be realistic. If it takes you 20 minutes to blow dry your hair, plan for your priorities and make time for possible delays. Researchers say people underestimate task completion times by as much as 40%. Never plan to be on time. Set your clock 10 minutes ahead. Chronically late people tend to arrive at the last minute. Changing your clock will trick you into thinking you're not leaving any earlier. And set more than one alarm. Psychologists recommend setting a warning alarm to alert you when you've run out of time.
Also, avoid the snooze button. Getting a good night's rest will help you wake up earlier and be more productive. But Lisa, perhaps some people are late because, they're just procrastinating. They'd rather watch paint dry than go to work.
It could be, especially when more than 65% of Americans say that work is their #1 source of stress. Here are a few ways you can spot work burnout.
Overworked, underpaid, and unappreciated. Over 1/3 of Americans say these are reasons that contribute to their chronic work stress. But there are more.
Motivating people.
Lack of sleep.
Trying to get the right people to work together to fix a problem.
So how can you spot the difference between typical work stress and burnout? Take note of your morning habits. Employees who are overwhelmed tend to hit the snooze button more often. Over 12% of Americans admit that sleepiness made them late to work. Arguing with your spouse? It's a good indication you might need a break from work, not from your spouse. Disgruntled employees tend to be more emotionally and mentally absent at home. If you feel like you're struggling or overwhelmed with even the smallest tasks, you could benefit from a little meditation. Companies like Google and the Huffington Post offer their employees mindfulness stress reduction classes to keep them on track. Take action with the things you can control, like sending an email or making the first phone call.
And when stress persists, talk to your boss to find out if there's any additional support available. Being upfront can help you keep your stress in check. Well, one way to keep your stress in check is to check in with nature. Still ahead, nature is what the Ward Museum for Wildfowl Art is all about, and you can take a little piece of it home or put it under the tree for someone you love this holiday season. Learn what unique items you'll find there.
Well, I recently found myself gearing up to spend a day in the life of a hot bucket crew chief. If this whole TV thing doesn't work out, we'll see if I can make the cut with the Delaware Electric Cooperative.
But first, we've been talking a lot about sleep today. Dr. Oz says one thing that may help you get a better night's rest: a massage.
Hi, I'm Dr. Oz. Many of us think of massage as a luxury, but I consider it a necessity. Did you know a massage can lower stress hormones and boost your level of feel-good endorphins? It can also aid in soft tissue healing and improve your circulation. And a healthy massage can help you sleep better and reduce pain.